Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to my vintage shirt. This is Saburrtooth. We are talking about the brand new eyeball cutters that have just come out. I've got them all loaded up here. Saburrtooth has these new bits and burrs that have just come out. I got my whole brand new set here, and we're gonna break them in. We're gonna talk about them. I love talking about bits, burrs, stuff that you can make eyeballs with. It's one of the most asked questions I get all the time is, what do I use for my eyeballs? How you can do them? I mean, honestly, the eyeball bits are really fast. They can really help out when you're really rocking it. They're great for bears. They're good for, things that have round eyes. And also with these new bits, you can carve and you can do the eyes, and it's burning this time. There's not the divots. This is my old one, but you can see there's little slots there, right there. You see how there's that little gap there? So that carves and cuts and does what you need it to do, Works awesome. Boom. Works great. So with these new ones, I'm all about it. I mean, I've been working with Saburrtooth on these for I remember when we started doing this, I want to say 7-8 years ago. I was testing them out. The amazing craftsmen and craftspeople at Saburrtooth come up with constantly the coolest bits and burrs that are out there in the world, and I think that they are the best in the world, and that's why I'm so proud to be with Saburrtooth. I've been with them for a lot of years now, and these eye cutters are awesome. There's 5 of them. So you can get a set. They come in 5s. I've got some die grinders here set up, and we'll compare these ones to these ones. Same size. We'll do a little comparison, and we'll see how they burn, how they carve. The great things you can do afterwards with this now is you can kind of you want to add a little texture, you can do whatever. You can carve too. And if you watch the cut above, I think it was episode 4 or 5, I spent about 5 minutes ranting about how cool these bits were, and it actually made it on the show, which I couldn't believe. Talk about an awesome plug. I was very shocked, but that's when these things came out. So it was last year these came out, and we had prototypes of these years ago. They were square. They weren't the tapered dovetail style. And, speaking of a cut above, Sam Bowser had reached out to Saburrtooth and said, hey, this is an idea. I think it would work. Jody messaged me. We started talking. And I think that she came up with a fantastic idea, and they built on it. And I've tested out the prototypes. I just got these brand new ones just so you could see what it's like when you first get them. Sounds like there's an ambulance. That's not good. Hope everyone's okay. That's ADD for you. So this is only a once in a. There are only a couple of these made. I love it. I wear it very rarely because I don't want to mess it up. But so the one great thing about these ones that I think are still my go-to, these new ones are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna get into that. I think they're just as good. It's another top-level quality product that Saburrtooth has come up with. They're better than any of the other eyeball bits that are out there, especially these ones. These ones were, what started it all off. And now we're at a new space where you can kind of carve and burn, and, you need a little depth to it. You can do that. And then once you get deep enough, it actually starts to score. So there's lots of good little things you can do, and also some time-wise stuff. Maybe you don't feel like you're like me and you absolutely hate swapping out bits. That's probably one of the most funny things about carving is you'll find that most people just hate swapping bits, and that's why I like to have so many die grinders, because I actually just don't enjoy that. But that's the wah. So let's get into it. So the cool thing about these ones is, you could carve, you could shape with these, but it's not as functional. It burns, you know, more so than, you can see I didn't tighten that up enough. Because I think I was planning on swapping it out right away. And that's now here. There we go. I forgot I was gonna do that. But here, it doesn't really do it. But when it comes to, you know, like doing, let's say you want to do like a fifth scale or something like that, you can easily kind of do that fifth scale look. Yeah, you have to worry about that, but that could also be the great guideline to, you know, setting your depths. You know, then you can come in and use a Dremel, one of the flare bits, and then dig them out so they're layered on top of each other. But if you're just doing like a quick fish or quick something, you know, that really works. And consistency and textures always will make things better. And I think that this still has a very, very beautiful place in my wheelhouse. And I'll, to be honest, take a while because I'm so used to it. That's the way I've been carving for, you know, the last 12, 13 years. Is we used to have makeshift eyeball bits, and now we have these. So now it's going to take a little bit to get used to with these because they also create a much different texture, right? So let's see. Takes a little bit more to burn, but that's kind of nice. Look at that nice green eye. And you can see I got my green nails because it's green, and that's the coarse grit, but very, very nice shape. You know, it's kind of separating it out a little more. Try to bring this thing closer for you guys, and then you can see here. I can't zoom in because I'm doing it all from my my iPhone, and yeah, it's a little unbalanced, but whatever. So let's just compare the two right now. Here we go. Different die grinders also are going to make a little bit of a difference. This is burning a little more, but it's also, this is also more worn in. Once these get worn in like this, they're black. They're always, you know, they're meant to be like that. So mine does still burn and score at the same time because the scoring is nice because it cuts a little more, but at that same time it's black inside, so it's just going to start burning. And then once I get to this part here and this heats up, you know, it's going to start to do that same thing. You just put a little pressure. There we go. So a little bit wider, and then if you wanted to, you know, you're doing like eye sockets, you want to maybe do a little accent or something. You've got that option. And then I really like the idea that you can, you know, you could probably do some lips. The quickness of being able to carve on top of, do your, you know, eyeballs is a great new addition to what we have here. And what I have actually really liked is, you know, being able to use it as a dovetail. So a lot of times when I'm doing like a, you know, a bear claw, something like that, you want that sharp angle. So now you don't have that. Not only you don't have the dovetail, which has the grit on the side, it's concave. So you're kind of, you have that negative space that actually will really help you in another progression in carving, another something that's going to help you do something different that may not have been done before. And that's one thing with burrs and bits and all of these different tools that you see out there, is just trying stuff. And I've talked about that in a lot of different videos, is I'll try anything just to see if it works, because I think that in carving, that's really what you want to do. You want to be able to kind of push yourself to, try something different. Of course, you want to replicate, you know, when we're carving like fast and we want to just like quickly punch in, you know, quick carve. Okay, we just need some eyes. Boom. Here we go. This is going to be a couple of beautiful little eyeballs. And actually, what's gonna work good is when you're doing this, this actually kind of pops them a bit, right? When you have the burning one, it kind of sets it in to where it doesn't expose it a little more. So now when you have this this little grinding bit here, it kind of pops the eyes out. So you're instantly getting that pop, which I think is really nice. And there's 5 of these different ones. There's literally any size you want, you can do. I mean, the biggest I think is an inch. It looks like an inch to me, but I don't know. But yeah. So you could totally do really any kind of texturing, and even like with this little guy right here, this is the smallest one they make, and this is nice because you can do those tiny little eyes on something really small, but at the same time you want to create texture, something like a cascading, like a reptile texture, or something that's, you know, anything. Sorry, I don't like the toggle switch of this die grinder. But just from that little bit, you can see there's like a nice, like say it's a skin, the scales of a snake, and that's just instantly just kind of doing something fun with it. And that small one just carves. I mean, like, you're doing a small carving to do an eyeball with this bad boy. But for me, I would use it for something like, you know, reptile skin, or some coarse texture that you're gonna wanna use, because this thing is kind of almost the size of like a Dremel bit. You can, of course, do eyeballs, you know, don't get me wrong. But and you know, different stuff, but look at how it just hogs into the wood. And it's going in flat. So say you wanted to do, you know, something right here where you want to go up. You can instantly dig out with this and not go too aggressive, because it's, you know, it's indented. It's an eyeball bit. So you've got all these new ideas and all this new stuff that can be done with these eyeball bits, and it's a great new addition to my arsenal. And I do like the idea. Sorry, I'm just gonna swap over a bit here. One good thing about die grinders, this is a little tip for you guys, I always lose them. So I have my battery one, I have it marked orange on orange, so then I know already it's gonna be the battery one for my ice carving, and for my 805 die grinder, I have it just like in bright duct tape. And the reason I do bright is because when you're ice carving, the snow, it just gets lost in the snow, and you want something that's gonna stay bright. And that's same with sawdust too, right? You wanna have that luxury of always being connected to something. Black gets lost and so does white. And then you have it where it's not too long. Like I make it only enough to where I can just go crack and hang it back up. It's been something I've done for years, and I think it's really a great way to do it. I mean, I made these like, I think when I made my bit kit for Saburrtooth, like my first bit kit like 8-9 years ago. So this is a brand new one. This is a 1/2 inch, and same thing. You know, we'll probably get some green because it's brand new. And I shifted there. Let's say you wanted to make the eyeball kind of like, you know, look up a little bit. You can do that. You instantly have. I always wear my mask, so this is different. It's carving and it's burning, but at that same time, if you wanted to lift up the eyes, like you're like, oh, you know, give that idea that, you know, you're looking down and you can pull down. And remember too, actually, before I say that, when you're using these, I always think about like Mark Culp when we were doing Carver Kings, and the joke that actually made it on the show was at you for you, one eye looking at you, one eye looking for you. And that is because, you know, you can have one eye looking at you, one eye looking for you. And I'm just going to text Uncle Kevin, don't call me right now. Sorry, guys. Hey, bud, don't call me right now. Just filming a YouTube video. So, Uncle Kevin is talking about getting videos back. If you haven't seen Uncle Kevin Carves, you can go to his YouTube page. He hasn't posted in a while, but he is talking about doing some stuff again. He's coming over. We're going to do the wheel. We're doing 3 weeks of carving together, or 2 weeks of carving together, and we are doing some massive stuff coming up. So, Atrophoria, back to it. One eye looking at you, one eye looking for you. And that happens when you're doing eyes. And it's eyes with the way you go in. If you're doing eyeball bits, you want to make sure you go in at the same spot. So, you know, for instance, let's just do a line here and say that, okay, this is the lips, there's the nose, and now we've got the eyes, right? So you want to make sure that it's balanced on both sides equally. Of course, I've already done a bit here, but whatever. So you see how it's off. And this is the perfect example. You can see here that this one is slightly off, that one's up. And what happened is, when you're doing these eyeballs, you want to go in at the angle that you're going to go, same way, and do the same thing on the other side. You don't want to go in on an angle this way and then on an angle that way, because it will look awkward. And that's the same thing, especially when you start to put in like a pupil. Like I'll get my little flame bit here. So this little flame, obviously this isn't the video, but we're talking about, since we're talking about eyeballs and eyeball bits, the Whisper. I love this thing. I am going to send Jody a concept one of these days of what I would like this thing to do. But I always use it. And so now we'll even do it right here. So like when you're doing the eyes, the Atrophoria thing is, you want to do, you know, just even if you're doing a little highlight eye there, you just got that highlight there. If you go off and you do it like this, and it's off now. You can see if these were the two eyes, this one's looking that way, this one's straight on. You want to make sure whenever you're doing an eye, you're going straight in, down and up, straight in, down and up. And you want to, and whether you're looking, you know, look at my eyes, looking up, looking down, get a mirror, take a picture, do that. Same thing goes for the eyeball bits. You want to push in at that same way. So if I'm here, because let's say you want to do that. You want to really make the eye big, you can do that. Look at how big, much bigger that eyeball is now. Just by going straight on. See that? Look at how much space there is there. There's another, 3 millimeters just right at the top. And that's just from keeping the pressure on and working it around. But maintaining that pressure, because you want it to be a perfect circle, right? Like you go like this, you start working it, keep the pressure, you work around, you're still carving, you're still going. I've never even done this. Look at how big this is. Oh, and now I'm starting to waver, yeah. So I pushed it too far. I've never done it before. But look at how much bigger that is. And if I was really, really trying, I could probably get rid of it. I don't know. But even now, look, it's like I've even put in a new eye. Dude. So that's pretty cool. If you look at that, here, check this out. So it's like there's 2 layers now. There's double. So I did one, did the other, and that's pretty fun just from taking a couple seconds and playing with it. And like when you see the eye, there's always the eyelid anyways, and bears' eyes are always really round. That's the way they appear, at least, because they're black. But that's a pretty cool little feature. So when you're doing this, you can get more out of your eyeball bit just from keeping the pressure and burning and going around, trying to keep it good. Don't move. You want to work it, keep that angle. There we go. So that's way bigger. Same size, double the size of an eye. And that could work for like spots on a dragon or anything. Any big circles that is like a texture, you could probably, replicate it here. I don't know if I can see it, but we'll just go with it. We'll just try and bring it over. There we go. We've done that now. And then we'll do another one. Nope, we're going to go right here. There we go. Clean it out. Pretty good. But that's the kind of thing. You just got to try stuff, right? But if I was to take my time and actually go bop, 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 like you think about Chris Foles, perfect example. He will use the eyeball bits for octopus textures, or crocodiles, or whatever it is. And if you really want to start pushing and you realize when you're carving, you're playing with light and shadow, you're going back and forth, you can go in here and create even more depth. It takes a little bit of time. And then you can make it even deeper. You've got a in seconds, you can create a texture that looks really cool. And that's the thing with these new bits and all the new cool things that is out now. You just go with it. I mean, look at these different textures in this, 20 minutes we've been doing this, but 20 minutes of these video, and you can see there is countless ways to create, and I'm really excited for these. So hopefully sawvalley.com, my website, will be selling them soon. I have to do a big order. I haven't yet. I keep saying I'm going to, but honestly, I'm just starting slow with my store. I'm just selling bars right now. And the next product to come is Saburrtooth, which will be eyeballs and a bunch of things. And we're actually probably going to sell to America. I was saying I wasn't going to, but at the same time, it's quite easy to ship. We don't have the same duty problems that I've heard America has to ship to Canada, because the only reason I started sawvalley.com store was to sell to Canadians because we weren't getting stuff. So, and it's hard to ship. That's what Bob and other people who run stores say is it's, Canada, I guess, makes it a pain in the ass to ship to, from America. But in Canada, I shipped some bars down south and it was no problem. So, right now I've got 12-inch dime tips, but that's not what we're talking about. And in December, we'll have lots more. But I'm definitely going to put in an order, a bunch of these, and be selling them soon, because I've been saying it for too long, and this is just a beauty. Like, these are great. The fact that you can carve, you can do, and that's just cool. It's very sharp. There's something special, and even just this little burny, grainy texture that that this is creating when it pulls down looks cool. Like you can see these little serrated parts from the burr. You burn that out and flapper that's gonna look awesome. That's gonna give you something new. There's something different, something to try. And that's what I think is really, really awesome about these new bits because it adds a whole new different ideas for texture, different ideas for creativity, and also falls back on something that is tried and true, a good eyeball bit. And good eyeball bits have been hard to find until, you know, last year when these came out. I still love this one. Can't go wrong. Well, I love it when this thing actually works. This die grinder's tired. But it's slower, you know, like it burns. I find it burns well, but it's a slower, and then it's a sharper, it's a lot sharper. So if you did want to scoop that out, you don't have the luxury of doing that like you do here. So you just do it. And then if you want, you can just keep pushing. And then pull. You know, you can do it without even touching it and just widen out that eye. So look at the difference in widening out that eye. Same size, a little bit different of a push because this is not serrated. Could be cool if it was serrated, but if you've got both of them and, you know, if you're like me when you start carving like crazy and I have so many bits and I love it. And it's just the way it is because you, as a carver, become obsessed. It's like my wife says, like, you need another one, you need more tools, you need this, you need that. Yeah, I do. So, wrapping it up, these new eye cutters are awesome. I've been waiting to talk about them for a long time. I hope you go out and get them. You can get them at saburrtooth.com. Right now, sawvalley.com if you're watching this, you know, closer to Christmas 2023. Hopefully I'll have them on sawvalley.com, but they're awesome. And you can get them at like the whole kit. So the whole kit is, all 5 of them is $175 US. And the great thing about these things is they're going to last, and these bits last. Like I've had this one, this is my prototype bit that I got 2 or 2.5 years ago. This thing still rocks and it's not going anywhere. The only thing that happens is they burn and they get more cured and they're more weathered and they do what I want it to do faster. So I've got no complaints about the longevity of these bits. And that's why I think Saburrtooth is honestly the best of the best. There's not a better bit that is out there, or burr. There's not a better burr that's out there because, you know, the other competition just doesn't match. They're all trying to copy. And the great thing is this sets the bar. I feel like there's smoke out there. Yes, there is smoke out there. So I have a fire brewing in the back there, and it's time for me to go. So thank you. If you've watched this video, give it a like. Thank you for watching my page. We got some really cool videos coming out, life-size elk, squirrels, frogs. We're gonna be doing a lot more hand carving videos soon, and more content. So if you have any comments about burrs and bits or questions, leave them in the comments here. And if you want to see any videos about something, definitely just leave it in the comments. I'm gonna be doing more. I just saw YouTube has updated the members streaming, so I can do it now from my phone. So for members, I'm gonna start doing on Thursdays like a live carve and chit chat, and then everyone will get, like, you know, whatever I'm carving on Thursday is an hour of my time, and we'll just talk. And if anyone's even on, if no one's not on, then they get to have it for later. So 30-minute video. These are awesome. Go out and get them. They're great, and they're different. They're different than this. This still has a very, very important use as to this type of texture. Carve and burn, sharp lines. They're totally different, but the contrasts are different. And at that same time, when you have them both in your arsenal, it's just one quick, easy thing to think about when you're carving and go, oh yeah, beauty, I can use this on this, or I can do that with that. And that's what it is. And nowadays, with all the cool ass carvings that are going on and all the carvers that are creating right now, it is amazing to watch and to see how good everyone's getting it and taking this craft to the next level. So thank you for watching the Saburrtooth eye cutters. You can go get them at saburrtooth.com. And yeah, my review is 2 thumbs up, and I genuinely mean that. These are badass. So good job, Sam. And I better go put that fire out because it's getting smoky in here. See you guys. Thanks. We'll see you in the next video. Yeah.